Ah! Volume down, volume down, volume down. There we go. Language, subtitles, yes please. Alright. What's... Oh! Oh my. Okay, it's a first person. E. Um... Color connotations of binary gender notwithstanding, I do prefer blue over purple. Or magenta, whatever it is. What would you call that? Is that magenta? I like the word magenta. I just like saying it, but we'll go blue. Or not? Can I not select anything? Or oh, okay, I actually have to move. Yeah. Right, first person controls. Alright. Yeah, we'll go this way. E, no, nothing. Oh, goodness. Whoa! Whoa. Well, this is fascinating. Arrow, go this way. But what if this way? What if this way? Trans. Trans is an umbrella term for anyone whose gender does not or is a term for anyone whose gender does not or does not fully match the sex they were assigned at birth. It is the antonym of cis. Today the term is most commonly used as an adjective, but it can also be used as part of a compound noun that describes a given identity. Cool. It's a museum of queer terminology. This is great. This is fantastic. Passing. Passing describes phenomena where a trans person is read as either cis, their correct gender, and or the gender they want to be perceived as by an outside party. Being able to pass is often seen as a privilege. Historically, the term has been used for a BIPOC who were white passing and thus able to escape some of the legal and social conventions of racial segregation and discrimination. I bet there's a lot to this. I don't know if we'll get through it all in one run, but if we don't... The philosophy of identity is fascinating. We might not get through all of it in one sitting, but if we don't, I'll definitely come back and explore this. Gender fluid, this is something that has always kind of flummoxed me. Gender fluid describes certain identities under the multigender, non-binary, and transgender umbrellas. Gender fluid individuals have gender identities that change over time. They could be multiple genders at once and then switch to none at all, or move between single gender identities or some other combination therein. For some gender fluid people, these changes happen as often as several times a day, and for others, monthly or less often. I have to admit, I struggle with the idea that one's identity, one's sense of self, can change several times over the course of a day and not be mind-racking. Like, if your sense of self is changing that frequently, that doesn't seem like a change in identity. That seems like a change in mood, which is not a bad thing either. And depending on how broadly or narrowly you define gender, gender itself seems like a very, well, fluid word, I guess. So, depending on how you interpret gender and gender fluidity, anybody could be gender fluid. Gender fluidity could be the default. Like, depending on your experience of identity philosophy, we're all different people over the course of days, months, years. I'm certainly not the same person I was 5 years ago, let alone 10 or 20. Originally a slur against members of the LGBTIA community, the term queer was reclaimed in the 80s and is today a widely used umbrella term describing any person who isn't straight and cis and DYA. I don't know that one. While some members of these communities still reject the term due to its past, it has become one of the more widely used umbrella terms and has spawned its own field of political and academic theory, i.e. queer theory and queer studies. Oh, I want to walk on the ceiling. I like that you can't see what's at the end of the tunnels. Yeah, let's go this way. Demi. Demi is an umbrella term for non-binary gender identities that have a partial connotation to a certain gender. I learned about this one recently, and I like it. I want to clown. Because let's be real, let's assume, for the sake of argument, a purely binary framework is, and assume the stereotypes associated with each. Is anybody 100% man 100% of the time to the most extreme extent? I don't think anybody is, and I think the same is true for being a woman. Dia. Okay. An intersex person has sex characteristics, e.g. sexual anatomy, reproductive organs, and or chromosome patterns that do not fit the typical definition of male or female. This may be apparent at birth or become so later in life, such as puberty. Intersex people, just like dyadic people, am I pronouncing that right? May identify with any sexual orientation or gender identity. Dyadic is a word used to refer to people who are not intersex. Dyadic people were born with sex characteristics which could be categorized into one of the binary genders. Okay. Interesting. I was not familiar with that term. Dyadic. More learning! And this pen's dying. Crap. On to the next. So dyadic is just not intersex. Cool. Good to know. This is an interesting room. Ooh, that's pretty. Euphoria. Dysphoria. I'm guessing. Oh. Whoa. 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 Oh, this is fascinating. Oh, this is so well designed. Gender euphoria, sometimes called gender congruence, is the antonym to gender dysphoria. It describes the phenomenon of a person experiencing joy due to one or multiple aspects of their gender identity or expression, e.g. pronouns, body features, or labels. And I can jump down here through this murk to find dysphoria. Yes. Ah, you're in the way. You're all in the way. Go away. Gender dysphoria refers to negative feelings arising from some aspect of gender experience. Examples include body dysphoria when caused by aspects of one's own body, as well as being misgendered. Gender dysphoria is experienced by many, but not all trans people. The term can also be used diagnostically, referring to persistent and clinically significant discomfort with an assigned gender. I was shocked to learn through a ContraPoints video that dysphoria was not necessarily a universal experience of trans people. To the point where, like, I still don't understand what the experience is of a trans person. I still don't understand the experience of a trans person who discovers their identity without experiencing dysphoria. I'm glad they don't experience that, obviously. It sounds awful. But for so long, and due to stereotypes and due to the few examples I was privy to early on, learning about this subject, I just assumed that the defining characteristic of being trans was intense discomfort with oneself, even to the point of self-loathing. What's this? I'm glad to know that is not the case. Ah, this game is so good. This is beautiful. Non-binary. Non-binary is a term that refers to people whose gender is not completely and exclusively male or female. They can identify with not having gender at all, with both binary genders, with a third identity, or an identity which can change over time. Non-binary people fall under the transgender umbrella term, and non-binary is an umbrella term itself, although some people use it to describe their specific gender identity. It's umbrellas all the way down. Not to say that I'm not loving every bit of this. The environments are so well designed and such good expression of depth and distance using minimal and sometimes no color. Can I jump down there? I cannot. But I'm going to leave this here because I want to explore all of this later, and I want a little bit of incentive for anybody watching this to buy the bundle or even just this game and explore for themselves. This is a great reference guide that makes you want to walk through it and explore it, much like the exploration of identity itself. So let's back out of that. The music is gorgeous too. It's so chill. All right. Oh, and there's the tree. There's the tree that we found in the middle. Or maybe the middle. I have no idea.